It is very important you look out for this before you sign any contract in the UK or any job contract at all. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fajira. If you're joining me for the very first time, I'm so happy to have you and my beautiful family. For my returning subscribers, I want to say thank you guys for always coming back to watch my videos. I really do appreciate. God bless you. So if you're here for the very first time, I create content on how you can migrate to the UK, jobs with visa sponsorship in the UK immigration updates, like everything you can think about the UK. So if you're someone who is interested in such content, do hit on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, so each time I upload a new video, you're going to be the very first person to see that video. So guys, let's quickly dive right into today's video. Today's video, guys, I'm going to be talking about factors to consider before you sign your job contracts. A job contract is an agreement between you and the organization, you and the company. So if you're working as a carer, you're working in any organization, please watch out for this before you sign any job contract. We all know that sometimes a contract may be lengthy and may not be able to read through properly, but please, I would advise that before you sign any job contract at all in any part of the world, this is not just only about UK, ensure you go through the job contract properly. Go through it very well. If you remember, I shared a video recently, a lady that is being sued to court because of a breach of contracts, and from what is everything that she breached is written in the contract, but she didn't read her contract properly. That may most likely make her to pay the whole amount the company has invested in her. So before you sign any job contract, I would say you should sleep over it. Don't just rush to sign a contract. Sleep over it and make sure you read through it properly before signing. The first thing to look at before signing your job contract is the length of the contract. Some companies may employ you and want to sponsor you on a 5 years visa, or some may want to sponsor you on a 3 years visa. That means that you're going to be signing a 3 years contract with them or a 5 years contract with them. So before you sign any contract, look at the length of the contract. If it's for 5 years or if it's for 3 years, like I used to advise a lot of people that it is always wise to sign for 3 years first, because you've not worked with the organization before and you don't know how it may turn out to be, instead of signing a 5 years contract. In as much as we know that if you sign a 5 years contract, it give you 5 years tier 2 worker visa, that after the 5 years you will get your indefinite leave to remain in the UK. But it is also very good that you sign a 2 or 3 years contract first for a start and see if that's the organization you would want to work with for a longer time. Then after the first 2 or 3 years, you can sign another contract with them. So that's the first thing you should always look out for. Another thing is to check if you will be working beyond your contracted hours. As some contract would say, you're contracted for 37.5 hours per week. Then if you work over the 37.5 hours per week, you get a higher pay. Find out if that is written on your contract, because if it's not written on your contract and you work overtime, you may not be able to get any higher pay for the extra hours you have worked. And bear in mind that you will be charged a higher tax if you work a lot of overtime. Then the next thing you have to do, check if your employer is offering you accommodation if you're coming from overseas. Like I've seen a lot of contracts recently that the employers are offering 2-3 months accommodation. If the employer is offering you accommodation and you want to leave them in a very short time, there is a possibility that the employer will ask you to refund the money they have paid for your accommodation. Or if the employer has paid for your visa and have paid for other things, and you get to the UK and you want to leave them within a very short period of time, they may ask you to refund everything they have paid to sponsor you. So check that and read that thoroughly. Another thing you have to find out is your annual leave. Find out how many days, read it very well to see how many days annual leave you have in a year and how is the annual leave taken. A company where I work, if you don't take your annual leave before the 31st of March, then you will lose it. So our annual leave starts counting from 1st of April to 31st of March, which is, it counts alongside with the tax year. So even if you're paying council tax, the council tax starts from 1st of April to 31st of March. So always check if your annual leave is within the tax year, or if your annual leave is from January to December. So if it's from January to December, you have to take it within 1st of January and 31st of December. But some companies, like I know a lot of companies in the UK, including my own organization where I work, our annual leave is taken from 1st of April to 31st of March the next year. So anything that exceeds 31st of March, let's say you've got 2 or 3 days annual leave left and it's already 31st of March or 30th of March, you may not be able to take it. Maybe you may be able to take just one, which is 31st of March. You will end up losing the other ones that you have not taken. So ensure you read properly to know when is the annual leave of this organization I'm going to work with. For organization, you cannot go more than 2 weeks. You have to split it. I know back in Nigeria where I used to work, if you have 1 month, you have to go for that 1 month. But in the UK, if you have 1 month, or let's say 28 days annual leave, you have to split it. You cannot go for the whole 28 days. You have to split it because they need people to be on site or they need people to be on ground to work. So always check on your contract to know when your annual leave starts and when your annual leave is going to end. So that's one of the things you should be looking at before signing your contract in the UK. Another thing you have to check before signing your contract is anything about deduction. Let's say if you misuse company equipment, company's uniform, or anything that is being given to you, are they going to deduct it from your salary? Check that. And also check if your salary will be deducted if you arrive at your place of work late. So always check that, because if you don't check that and at the end of the month you get paid and some deductions were made, you end up having problem with the company without knowing that some of the things you have been given, you have misused them, or you have been showing up late for work, and which is why they have done the deduction. So always check that before signing your contract to know the things that are deducted from your salary. Another thing you have to check is the deduction of total cost spent on you. This is basically for those who are coming from overseas. So if you're coming from overseas and the company has paid for your visa fee, they have paid for everything, like including your transportation, check on your contract to see if they are going to be deducting that from your salary every month. Because a lot of people have arrived in the UK serious problems with their organizations because they thought all of those things was done for free, and once they come, they will start working and they will be earning their exact salary. Please make sure you read your contract carefully and see if the money that the company have spent on you will be gradually deducted from your monthly salary, so you don't end up having issues. And imagine when you start having problem with an organization that brought you to work, you will never feel comfortable. It's like having a problem with your boss and every day you wake up to see your boss. Trust me, you will never be comfortable in that organization. So take out time to read your contract. If there are things you do not understand or you're not happy with, call the attention of your manager or your human resource manager to tell them, oh, sorry, I've just read through this. I don't really understand what this is all about. And they will explain to you. Another very important thing you have to check when reading your contract is termination. How does the termination work? How long do you have to work with this organization before you can terminate your contract? Recently, I uploaded a video about a lady that came into the UK 2 months into a contract of 5 years. She sent in her resignation. As I speak, they are currently in court right now. So always read the termination process. If it's a company that wants to terminate your contract, how many weeks notice are they going to give to you? Check that very well. And if it is you that want to terminate your contract, how many weeks notice or how many months notice are you supposed to give to your organization? Read that very well. So just in case you come into the UK, or if you're currently in the UK and you get another job and you want to terminate, read through it and know when to send in your notice. So you don't send in your notice earlier before when you're supposed to send it, or you don't send in your notice later than when you're supposed to send it. So that is very important. And some organizations, like I said, if they have sponsored you from overseas to the UK and you want to terminate within a very short period, they may most likely ask you to refund all that they have invested in you. Like we know, like the NMC, if you're coming as a nurse, some organization will pay for your NMC registration, they will pay for your training and so on. So imagine if you work for that organization for only 5 months and they have paid for all of this, that's to say they are grooming you for the organization, and next thing you're resigning. It's not really fair on the organization because they have invested money on you. Always make sure you check if anything the company is spending on you is meant to be paid back if you're leaving there within a short period. I have seen some contract that they will say, okay, if we are training you on this, you have to stay with us for maybe 1 year, and if you're leaving, you don't have to pay. But if you're leaving us before that 1 year, you will have to refund all that we have invested in you. So always make sure you check that out before you sign your contract, so you don't get into any form of problem or going to the court when you're not supposed to, or the organization taking you to court without you being aware of this. So always make sure you check that out. And also, if you're employed as a carer or as a care assistant or as a senior carer, this is basically for those that work in a care home, find out the capacity of the care home and find out how many residents are in that care home and how many people you'll be working with on daily basis. Because one of the things that have caused a lot of problem between care workers and their employers is that they don't get told the number of clients they will be dealing with every day. So ensure you always check that before you sign your contract. Another section you need to check before signing your contract is if your breaks are paid. As I know, some organizations, they pay for the 15 minutes break, that's 30 minutes break, and the other 30 minutes break is not paid for, and some organizations just pay you 1 hour break. So always check if your breaks are paid before you sign your contract, so you don't go on a break thinking that it's paid, then at the end of the month you don't get paid for that break. So check if the organization is paying for the break, and if they are paying for it, then that's fantastic. So the next you need to check as well is sick pay. We know that one of the things that makes us work is the money for us to be able to take care of ourselves and our families. So it is very important to check if you get paid when you're sick, or it's just the government one, which is the statutory sick pay you get. Because I think the statutory sick pay is about 90 something pounds a week. I can't really remember. And whereas some organizations, they used to pay you hourly, or they used to pay for the whole day even if you're sick. So that section is very important. So just in case you fall ill or anything, you will know if the organization is going to be paying you for the period of time you're away from work. Then another thing you need to check is your maternity leave. We have both maternity and paternity leave as well. So check if you're still in the process of having children. It is very, very important that you go for maternity leave. So always check and see if the company will pay you for maternity leave, or it will be the statutory one, which is a government one. Always make sure you check that section before you sign your contract, as I know that some companies usually pay you for up to 3-4 months while you're on maternity leave. You get full pay, especially with NHS, but I don't know for how long. So always make sure you check if you're on maternity leave for 9 months, how many months you get paid by the organization. Check that. Some organization, they pay for up to 6 weeks full pay, and after that you'll be getting the government statutory pay. So always make sure you check that before you sign your contract. Another important, when I mean very important section you need to check before signing your contract is your probation period. Always check how many months you will be on probation, whether it's for 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, before signing your contract, as some organization may want to keep you on probation for up to 3 months, and they will carry on doing the probation review to see if you're okay for them, or to see if there's any place you will need to adjust. So check the probation period and see if it is something you're happy with. Some companies may say you have to be on probation for 6 months, and 6 months, to be honest, is kind of long, but I know that some organizations, they do that. So always check. If you're not happy with it, speak to the HRO, speak to the manager, read your contract thoroughly. That's what I advise everybody. Make sure you sleep on it. Make sure you spend enough time to go through your contract. After uploading a video on the lady that got into trouble with her organization because of a breach of contract, I've received some contract from some of you for me to read through with you guys. And to be honest, I noticed that some people I have been reading their contract with them, they really didn't even understand some of the things that was written in that contract. So it is very important that you ask questions Any section you do not understand, spend time to ask questions, because if you don't ask, you will not know. And if you don't know and you sign a contract, you may end up signing a contract that may land you in trouble without knowing. So always ensure that you ask questions on any section you do not understand. Don't be shy. Don't shy away from it, because nobody knows it all. So make sure you ask questions whenever you don't understand. Whatever you don't understand, highlight any section you don't understand, ask questions, and get some clarification, so that when signing your contract, you're very, very sure that you have read through, you have slept on it, you understand exactly what you're going in for, and sign your contract. So guys, we've actually come to the end of today's video, and I hope you find it helpful. And like I will always say, share with your loved ones, share with your family and friends. So just in case they are about to sign their contract, or they have signed their contract, they will go back to it and review it again. So if you have watched this video till now and you're yet to subscribe to join our beautiful family, please do hit on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, so each time I upload a new video, you're going to be the very first person to see that video. So until I see you in my next video, guys, I wish you good luck in all. Bye bye for now.